blogspot.com, and today I'm doing something a little bit different. I just came back from work at 7 o'clock. I have to figure out what I'm going to do for dinner. I've decided that I was going to start looking into meal planning, and of course I didn't have a chance to do that yet, but I have some food items here that I've decided to utilize for dinner tonight, and I have enough to put aside and freeze and use later on next week. So tonight I'm making meatballs. I have never made meatballs before. Usually we buy our meatballs already pre-cooked and I put them in the skillet and sauteed them, but I have some ground beef that was in the freezer that I've defrosted over the day, and in particular I have a lot of leftover rice right here that we used 2 days ago. We went and bought a big batch of chicken and rice from the Fair Street barbecue down in Newark, and I have too much rice left over, no more chicken, and I don't know what to do with the rice. So even though this is contradictory to my good old Italian roots, I'm going to put rice inside my meatballs. I don't know how it's gonna taste, but I have to use this rice and I have to use the beef. So yeah, I'm gonna make meatballs with rice inside of it. I don't want to make rice balls, I'm gonna make meat rice balls. So I'm gonna show you the ingredients first, and then I'm gonna get going. I don't have much time, so this is a typical evening. We went grocery shopping, we had a few things to do, errands and whatnot for the kids. It's now 7 o'clock, I have 1 hour before dinner, so I better get started. It's typical of every weeknight where I rush to the house and try to figure out what's for dinner, and this is one of the reasons why I want to start looking into meal planning, because I'm tired of trying to figure out what's for dinner and then I don't end up making something healthy. I go and make something that is quick and the kids will enjoy, or at least eat and finish, so there's no battle. And for the past couple of weeks I've been really struggling to figure out what I'm going to do for dinner. So yeah, starting next week I'm going to do some serious research into meal planning, so there's probably going to be a series of videos that's going to come after that. But right now I want to make those meatballs. I hope the recipe is something that you're going to find interesting. I ain't finding anywhere. This is coming from the top of my head, and I'm hoping they're actually going to taste delicious. I'm going to place them on top of rigatonis with a regular tomato sauce and some Parmesan and call it a day. So yeah, let me get started. So here are my ingredients. I have some herbs that I picked up from the garden, and it's just oregano and some thyme. I have a good, let me see how much is it? I have 2.5 pounds worth of ground beef. I have 3 eggs. I have a half an onion that's left over, and this is the rice that I'm trying to finish and figure out what I'm going to do with it. And I have some black peppercorn and some salt, and basically all I'm going to do is mix all of those ingredients together, just combine them, and then I'm going to make little meatballs. I'll put some meatballs aside for lunch tomorrow, so we have dinner and lunch done, and then whatever is left over I will freeze and keep for next week. So this is not really meal planning, but at least I'm using everything I have and not throwing anything away and being as economical as possible. So let me get started, and then we'll see how it goes. Okay, so I'm going to start with chopping my onions, and forgive me, I'm not the best person to do that. I just want to chop them as fine as possible. Put that aside. Over here. Like I said, I don't pretend to be an excellent cook. I just know my way around a little bit. There's no doubt in my mind that I'm not cutting this properly. So what I want to do right now is cut them as small as possible and really chop, because my kids, if they detect any kind of onion or foreign objects, whatever is not meat or rice inside those meatballs, they will not eat them. So my goal here is to chop as much as possible and make them as little as possible. Like so. Okay. Here. So I got onions, and I'm going to chop my herbs. And an easy way to do that is to grab them from the top and just slide like this with your nail, and you get most of the herbs, or at least all of the leaves. When it's too small, you're just gonna have to scrape them like this. That's not thyme, that's oregano, so that's fine. That goes this way. I'm gonna chop this. And there's a lot of gadgets out there for chopping herbs and all of that stuff. I don't have any of that. I'm just going to chop them by hand. I'm trying to limit the amount of stuff that I have to clean afterwards because, again, I only have an hour to serve dinner and I really don't want to spend more time cleaning than I am preparing food. And I'm just going to go ahead and put my meat. Now I know I could use, same thing, I could use the food processor to mix all of this, but again, here's the pepper. I'm not trying to give myself more work by having to clean afterwards. Put a little bit of salt. Now I don't cook with a lot of salt only because I have a lot of water retention issues. So if the family members want to add salt to their food, they can do that at the table, but I try not to put a lot of salt. So I'm putting 3 eggs. 1, 2, and 3. Now I have to put the rice. I have about a pound of rice left here, and this is already seasoned rice. It's kind of like a Spanish rice, so I'm not going to put all of it, but I will add most of it, because I don't want the meatballs to lose their shape. And now that's the part that gets really, really gross. I have to take my ring off, and I'm just going to go ahead and mix all of this. Let me try it first with the spoon. And then once it's all mixed, I'll decide whether I want to add more rice or not. So this is what it looks like. I don't think I want to add any rice to it because I'm afraid they're going to fall apart. So what I'm going to do is make a batch of meatballs just for tonight and for lunch tomorrow. And then once I'm done with that, I'll prepare another one of those cookie sheets, and then I'll do another batch of meatballs, and the cookie sheet will go directly into the freezer so that the meatballs can freeze. And once they're almost frozen, I'll take them out, put them in Ziploc bags, and that would be a meal for next week. So right now I have to get a spoon and decide what size meatball I want to make. And I'm going to say that this is probably the size that I want to do. So here's one. So I'm going to do 6 meatballs for the adults and 4 for the kids, and then same thing over for lunch tomorrow. Oh, Electra, I know I'm touching meat. These actually are not falling apart, so I'm pretty happy about that. And yes, I did wash my hands. Some people may want to work with gloves, but that's okay with me because, you know, I know my hands are clean. So I'm going to go ahead and do this. and then I'll show you how many of them I was able to make, and then we'll start cooking. So these are the meatballs I'm having for tonight. I finished shaping them. They're ready to get cooked. And I have this much left, which is about probably a little bit over half. So that means that I'm going to have a good meal, a dinner and a lunch left over from this batch right here, and that's the batch I'm going to freeze. So while my water is boiling behind me, I'm going to put in my rigatonis and I'm going to start shipping those, and then once this is done I'll put them in the freezer. I'll start cooking these and we'll be done. So my pasta is cooking and I have 2 batches. This one is for tonight. This one I'm going to put in the freezer, and I'm going to do that right now. I have to make some room in the freezer so I could place this thing right here. So that's going to stay in here until it's almost completely frozen, and then once that's done they're going to go inside a Ziploc bag, and I'll make big portions or small portions. I don't know if I'm going to separate it or keep it as a whole batch, but that's definitely going to be a meal for next week that I don't have to worry about. And the great thing about meatballs is that even when they're frozen, you can put them directly into the skillet and just on a small heat, and they're just going to cook, and at the end you just sear them a little bit and they'll be perfect. So I'm going to go ahead and start cooking those. I just have one of my big cast iron skillet. I'm going to put some olive oil in it and a little bit of chopped garlic that I have in the fridge, and that would be it. It's 7:51. I have 9 minutes to finish. Here we go. Garlic is ready. I'm just going to go ahead and put my meatballs in there real quick. And what I'm going to do is, while they're getting brown on one side, I'll go to the other side of the kitchen and rinse all of my dishes, put the stuff in the dishwasher, clean up the countertop, and that will be clean. I won't have to worry about that. I'm going to turn my heat down a little bit. It's just a little bit too high right now. A lot of meatballs. Try to make some room. One more. And we're going to put it right here. Okay, there we go. So, turn the heat down a little bit. This thing on. Okay, so I did all my dishes and I'm just about ready to turn these. I'm just going to go ahead and try to turn them without breaking them. Like this. Once they're a little bit more cooked and solid, I'm pretty sure that they won't be too much of a problem to turn. Right now they're still a little delicate, but overall they're still holding the shape, so I'm pretty happy about that. I was concerned that the rice would make them too soft and that I would not be able to keep them in a bowl shape, and apparently they are just fine. Turn this one. My meatballs are still cooking in there. As you can see, they're almost done. I'm using this pasta sauce. I got it they were on sale for 98 cents at my local supermarket, and I had a 25-cent coupon that doubled to 50 cents, so I paid 48 cents for an entire jar. I bought 6 of them, so we got pasta sauce for a while. I'm just going to add that to my pasta and put the meatballs over it, and we're done. We're ready to eat. Okay, I'm ready to serve. Let's see how this looks. I have some rigatoni, and obviously I have to invest in some pasta bowls because I only have plates. Put some Parmesan, one layer right here. Easy dinner. And this is for my husband, so we're gonna give him 1 and 2 and 3, 4, 5 meatballs. Like this. A little bit more cheese over it. And I have some herbs put on the top. And that's it. Let's see how good they are. Okay, here's the moment of truth. Scott is about to try
On a scale from 1 to 10, it's 10.
You like them? Okay. Scott is about to try the meatballs that I made tonight, so go ahead. Drum roll, please. Alright, so how are they?
No, they're quite good. They're good.
You like them?
Yeah.
Can you taste the rice in them at all?
No?
They're nice and crunchy, huh?
You want to know why?
Oh, they're soft.
They're soft?
Yeah.
Okay, great. Thumbs up. So the meatballs were a success. And here are the ones that I froze. They've been in there for about half an hour and they are frozen. So take them out. I'm just gonna go ahead and put them in a Ziploc bag, and I have 1 meal complete for next week. Awesome. And then I'm gonna take the leftovers and put them in containers, put that in the fridge, and we'll have lunch for tomorrow as well. I have the meatballs in the Ziploc bag. I'm keeping them flat like this so that they can continue to freeze flat. Do this, reopen that, and then once they're completely frozen, I want to get some of the air out. Just realized I have a little bit too much in there. Just open this, push the air as much as I can out. And once they are completely frozen, I'll just stand it on the corner over here so that way they don't take too much room in the freezer. I'm going to make my dishes, my containers for leftovers for tomorrow. And I have to clean the pot and the skillet, and that's it. Everything else has been put in the dishwasher already. I'm ready to call it a night. It's 10 after 9. Kids are in bed already, and I'm just gonna go upstairs and read a little bit, and that's it for me. So if you like this video, give me a thumbs up. This is my first time that I'm actually doing some meal planning. I'm very new at this. I know that some of you are doing this on a consistent basis. It would be called my great challenge if I was proficient in this particular area. But like I mentioned earlier in this video, I'm just getting sick and tired of having to try to figure out what I'm going to do for dinner. So yeah, I've just made basically 2 lunches and 2 dinners for 4 people. So, and that cost me, I don't know, well, the rice, I don't know, maybe under $15 altogether, because the beef was the most expensive, was like $10, and it was not on sale. So I splurged in that area. But considering that I made meals for 4 people, times 4, 16, so it's about 80 cents per person. I can't complain. It's pretty good. Anyway, alright, so if you like this kind of video, let me know. Like I said, as of next week, I'm going to start to do some research and do more of those meal plannings and just demonstrate what I do. I may do some freezer cooking, I may do some crock pot cooking and freeze it later on, which is pretty much the same thing. But anyway, this is the direction where I'm going right now when it comes to organizing the meals in the house and just making life much easier. So I hope you enjoyed this, and leave me a comment. As if you want to ask me a question, or if you want to give me a suggestion. I know that some of you will wonder why I didn't put breadcrumbs in my meatballs, and there's a reason for that. I don't have any in the house, and I wasn't about to go buy any anyway. And the rice is pretty much a starch, so I figured that it would work out. And I have to say, they were pretty good. The next time I may have to cook them in a tomato sauce a little bit more moist. They were a little dry, but the reason why was probably because I left them on the stove for too long. Anyway, so yeah, this was Sophia for my great challenge. Thank you for watching. Bye bye.